Alright, now we've reached the point in the story where we see the origins of Claire, a.k.a. Beatrice, another form of Beatrice, which I guess now we're gonna call her Claire Beatrice? Clairetrice? Okay. Yeah, I guess now we know where she got her dress from. She must have gotten some inspiration from Gap's devil fashion magazines.
わかっている。ゆっくりと魔女の生活を楽しみながら、わらわの世界を膨らませてゆこうぞ。
あの狭くて暗い部屋はもうあんたの寝床じゃないわね。
わらわこそは黄金の魔女。
Oh my god, imagine. Like, you know how we've talked so much about the different kinds of Beatrices, Quadorian Beatrice, the first WITCHY, and more importantly, we've had Elder Battle and Baby Battle. This Beatrice right over here exhibits, the attitude of, well, not Baby Battle. A little bit of Baby Battle, that's for sure. But before, we've seen this Beatrice in a much more serious tone, telling the story and such. Are we just gonna have like another separation between a Baby Clairetrice and Elder Clairetrice? Oh my god. Stop!
六軒島の夜の支配者なれば、夜の屋敷はわらわのもの。わらわの住まうべきは屋敷ではないか。
ベアトリーチェの部屋ははは、決まってるじゃないか。
そうね。お屋敷の2階のあの素敵な
部屋。魔女の貴賓室こそベアトリーチェの部屋じゃないか。
おお、そうであったな。今宵よりわらわが住まうは夜の屋敷のあの部屋ではないか。これはうっかりしていた。
Sheesh, you're already starting with a cackling. That's You are not hesitating on that.
じゃあ行きましょう、ベアと。魔女が2人お茶をするなら、あんな狭い部屋じゃなくてふさわしい素敵な部屋でするべきだわ。
そうであるな。友人を招いて茶を振る舞うにはあの部屋は粗末が過ぎる。部屋を変えよう。行こうではないか。我が友よ。
シャノンとはお別れね。
When I looked at my feet, I could see my own dorm room far beneath me. I could see Shannon, who had dashed up to the bed I lay on, and me saying, "Wait," and the moment time froze. She was as rigid as a dome. Looking down at it from this height, it really did look like a small dollhouse.
さらばだシャノン。人間としてそなたを目標に、そなたと友情を育みながらの日々も楽しいものであったぞ。もしわらわが魔法の閲楽を知ることなく魔女に開眼することがなかったなら、それはこれからも変わらなかったであろうな。
I was your only close friend as well, wasn't I? Please forgive me for erasing that friend so suddenly. As a parting gift, I will erase me from your world. Starting now, this will not be a two-person room. It will be a single-person room, with just you in it. Okay? Strive to be kind, a reliable servant loved by everyone, and embody that ideal as you always have. Yasu, the stupid, clumsy servant who lost things all the time, no longer exists. Farewell, Shannon. When I mature as the witch Beatrice and wander freely about the nighttime mansion, I may bump into you as you do your nighttime rounds. However, when I meet you again, it will not be a reunion. It will be our first meeting. After all, though you have heard the rumors about the witch Beatrice, you have never met her. That is for episode 2. Farewell, Shannon. Let us meet again sometime and spit up some fun tale. What is this? Is Claire Beatrice transforming into Mage Noby right now with this kind of way of talking? What was I doing? Was I talking in my sleep? Apparently, I had gone out of bed, stretched my hand out towards it, and said, wait. Okay, now we're changing perspectives to Shannon. This isn't the first time I've woken myself up by saying something strange in my sleep, but I don't remember ever waking up to find myself out of bed and standing up. Could this be what they call sleepwalking? Am I just tired? Gotta sleep. Gotta get back to sleep. I turned around to face my bed. My bed wasn't there. There was no bed in this room except the one I had just turned my back on. If I'm the only one in this room, and the only bed is the one behind me, that must mean it's my bed. That feels wrong for some reason. Actually, hold on a second. Let me let me go to something over here that was said, like that is Beatrice's room. This will not be a two-person room, but a single-person room. You know, I feel like I should go back and read on what was said before about this dorm room, because I feel like this is a this is a wordplay of some sorts. Just because this room is called a two-personal room or one-person room, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's either like this room has two beds or one bed. It doesn't matter. It could be like a two-person room but with one bed, or one-person room with two beds, or stuff like that. But I do have to go back and see how the room was described. The bed sheets are all disarranged, as though someone slipped out of them. Someone? This is my own single-person room. So, that there is my bed, and the rumpled sheets mean that I was just sleeping there until a second ago, don't they? But, for some reason, that bed doesn't feel like my bed. But I, Shannon, have a single-person room. I was the only person to be given one while all the other kids had to share. So, there's only one bed. And it must be mine.
私疲れてるのかな
I must just be half asleep. I have school again first thing tomorrow. And after school, I'll go to the mansion, help out with some work. And then I want to talk to Kumasawa-san about the mystery novel I just read. I mean, that's... I mean, unless you are also a fan of mystery novels and you're consulting with Kumasawa in similar fashion to Yasuda, this is Yasuda's fault here, so... confirmation?
寝よう。きっと疲れてるからおかしなことを考えちゃうのね。おやすみなさい、シャノン。布団に包まれて静かに目を閉じれば、もう何も難しいことは考えなくていいんだよ。
I went back to my bed. It felt a bit uncomfortable to crawl into a bed that wasn't mine. Still, it might just be because I'm getting so sleepy, but it's starting to feel as though this is my bed after all. And just half asleep.
私はシャノン。一人ぼっちの使用人。時々失敗もしちゃうけど、誰からも愛される優しい使用人になりたい。おやすみ、私。
ああ、我こそは我にして我らなり。
She's one, yet many!
もう使用人ごっこは飽きた。人間ごっこは飽きた。これより我は、今宵より我はベアトリーチェ、千年を経た黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェであるぞ。たたえよ使用人ども、怯えよ夜回りに選ばれたることを。夜の島は屋敷はすべてわらわのもの、わらわの時間。ああ、我こそは我にして我らなり。さあ、我らの世界にてすべてを飲み込もう。それはまるで波頭のように。やれやれ、今夜も人間の書物を魚に神秘の月を飲み干そう。これがミステリー、これが密室、これが人間には不可能な犯罪とな。笑わせる。その程度の隙だらけの穴だらけが人間には不可能な犯罪とな。わらわを簡単させる素晴らしき密室魔法はないのか。ああ、やれやれ、これもこれもそれもあれもバカらしい。くすりとは笑えるが、これでは月と書物のどちらが魚かわからぬというもの。ミステリーに飽きれば蝶に姿を変えて、島を、屋敷を、広大な森を自由気ままに散歩しようではないか。臆病なる夜回りの使用人の後をつけて回り、窓の戸締まりを確かめるとき、そのガラスに姿を映して肩越しに笑ってくれようぞ。何をするも自由自在、気ままで気まぐれ。夜のいたずらはなかなかに楽しそうだ。よし、決めたぞ。今宵からはそれで遊ぼうぞ。それは愉快。今宵も愉快だ。魔女の世界は想像力の限りの全てを遊べる。わらわの想像力こそが我が魔力の源なのだ。ならばよかろう。面白い。それを無限大に広げようぞ。そしてそれで島をすべて飲み込んでやろうぞ。島の夜はすべてわらわのものなり。ああ、魔女の日々のなんと優雅で愉快なることか。ああ、我こそは我にして我らなり。愉快なる魔女の世界に。 第5章新しき元素。
お風呂場のアメニティは確認してくれましたか？はい、リストに沿ってしっかりと。
Ah, there's Mamon.
置く時の向きもきちんとしてますか？はい、もちろん。ちゃんとリストに従いました。ありがとう、源氏様。客室の準備も完了です。
ご苦労。最後にシャノンの目でも直接すべて確認するように。それから奥様が食堂のテーブルクロスをもう一度変えるようにと仰せだ。
あらあら、昼間に皆さんで苦労して変えたばかりだというのに、どうし。
あのテーブルクロスではどうも色が違います。よくよく室内との調和を見てみたら、やはり合いませんでした。やはり別のテーブルクロスにします。ああ、それから客間のシャンデリアの清掃はちゃんと確認しているでしょうね。エヴァさんが見上げて、あれは埃？それともまさか雲の巣？なんて言い出すことが二度とあってはなりませんよ。
ご安心を。すでに入念に清掃と確認をしております。
Is that a different sprite of Genji? No, I think I've seen that before. Just his eyes feel a little bit different today. I guess Genji is having a relaxed day today.
最後に私もすべてを確認いたします。
そうですか。結構。私も最後に全てを確認します。
I guess Genji decided to go a little bit wild, more than usual today.
シャノン、若い使用人たちを連れて新しいテーブルクロスを準備するように。もう少し清潔感を感じる白いものを探すのですよ。
はい、かしこまりました。
Matty was even more high-strung than normal, and walked about barking orders here and there. Even though the sky was beginning to get dark, the servants moved hurriedly about. Tomorrow would be the annual family conference. It was particularly rare for the siblings' individual families to visit the island. But this was the only time that they would all come together. It was the most important day of the year for both the Ushinomiya family and Rokenjima. Fuck it. I was just gonna bring in Mage Noby right over here to narrate this entire thing, like, throughout the rest of, Claire's story. Mage Noby, come over here. Oh. Okay. Sure thing, boss. Natsu, who was short-tempered on top of being high-strung, kept issuing orders one after another, only to later change her mind or ask for the work to be done again, keeping the servants busy until late into the night. Shannon now had many years of experience, and Natsu had put her in a position of responsibility, which meant that she was frequently called over to be given all kinds of strict orders. So, when Shannon finished her shower and lay down on the bed in the servants' quarters, she fell into a deep sleep almost immediately. I can hear the sound of wind coming from somewhere far away. It's a bit different from the sound wind outside the room would make. It's almost as though I'm sitting in a deck chair in the rose garden, turning over in my sleep, with the feel of the wind in my hair. That's right, the feel. This isn't a sound, it's a feeling. It's a sensation! Then is this a dream? Just as I was about to accept this theory, I thought I heard someone talking to me. My. It seems the work of a servant is just as boring as it ever was. Only boring, but difficult, strict, constraining, joyless. All you get in return for your years of service is some level of respect from the new servants. And even that is far from sufficient to repay you for all the hard work you've done.
もういい加減飽きはせぬか、その生活に。
Huh? Who? She wasn't just imagining someone talking to her. She was shocked to find that it was real. When Shannon opened her eyes, she gulped.
ここは
She couldn't say anymore. She was literally stunned silent. Shannon, who had been sleeping on the bed, was somehow in a rose garden. However, though this rose garden somehow resembled the rose garden on Kenjima, it was also completely different. After all, the roses were golden. Not only the flowers, but the dancing butterflies too. It was a golden rose garden of mysterious beauty. Somehow, Shannon was sitting in a chair under the arbor. It was as though she'd taken a nap there and woken up from a dream. Morning, sunshine! Or, I don't know if it's morning or night. It kind of gets difficult to tell time in the metaverse. But it felt strange. Is this golden rose garden a dream? For some strange reason, I even felt as though my entire life up to this point had been a dream, and that I finally awakened here.
ようこそシャノン、我が黄金のバラ庭園へ。
There was that voice again. Shannon looked around to find who it was. Yes, she did. A golden butterfly landed on the seat across from her and instantly created a human form.
久しぶりであるな、シャノン。元気であったか？まあ、元気であったろうな。わらわは毎日、そなたたちを観察しているのだから。
This woman laughed as though she was an old friend of Shannon's. However, Shannon obviously didn't remember this strange gold rose garden. And she certainly didn't remember this person's face either. Okay, well, clearly we're going for a completely different Beatrice over here who meets Beatrice, who meets who meets Shannon for the first time. But at the same time, I mean, up until this point, I was thinking that that moment in episode 2 when Shannon met Beatrice, that was for the first time as well. But can I say this is their first time? That, or maybe this is a bit more complex, and the two Beatrices obviously are different, so you can consider both their first meetings with Shannon. So again, I feel like this is the part where things get really confusing when it comes to what is going on in their minds, and I feel like this is something that I cannot really explain. Like, I can try, but something tells me that I'm definitely gonna have to take some time on this one. A little bit over here. I'm still gonna comment, of course. That doesn't stop. It's just that, like, if I'm to go with my previous ideas and such, what goes through the mind of such a person that I have described so many times? Sometimes it can be beyond human comprehension, a bit.
そうだったな。そなたはわらわをもはや覚えてはおらぬのだったな。
私はあなたを忘れているのですか？だったらごめんなさい。
謝るには及ばぬ。そのようにしたのだから、そなたの罪ではない。名乗ろう。わらわは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
ベアトリーチェ様、親方様が口にされる後ろ宮家の恩人の。
そのベアトリーチェではない。六軒島の夜を支配する黄金の魔女のベアトリーチェである。そなたが日々敬意を忘れぬ館のもう一人の主であるぞ。
あなたがベアトリーチェ様。
怯えずともよい。わらわとそなたはもともとは同じ仲間、いやいやルームメイトだったではないか。わらわはそなたに憧れ、日々使用人の仕事に励んでいたこともあったのだ。
私はずっと一人部屋で、ルームメイトは。
別れの時そなたの記憶を奪った。しかしわらわはそなたとルームメイトだったことを忘れぬ。そしてそなたとの友情をわらわの方から一方的に破棄し、立ち去ったことも忘れはせぬ。だからこそ一人残すそなたに悲しみを与えぬために、わらわとの日々の記憶も世界も全てを消し去ったのだ。
Completely off topic over here, but this definitely reminds me of something from One Piece, more specifically from Whole Cake Island arc. just a little off topic thing there that I wanted to mention there, I guess.
分かろうとしないでよい。ただこれだけは信じよ。わらわはそなたに危害を加えるためにここに呼んだのではない。
ここは私の夢の中ではないのですか？
夢の中と思ってよい。厳密には眠ったそなたの魂を我が庭園に招いたのだ。そなたをこの世界の住人に招くために。
Beatrice snapped her fingers, and a storm of gold butterflies all rose up around the rose garden. Whoosh! Whoosh! Okay, you don't have to also make the sound effects there, Major Noby. As the cloud of butterflies danced over the table, a gorgeous tea set appeared. There were teacups and a teapot, more elegant even than those used by the Ushiromia family. The tea filled the cups to the brim and had a sweet rose scent, one which Shannon had never smelled before. Before there was even time to be amazed by that scent, butterflies started gathering one by one on a table, and a tea stand sprouted right out of it. It was like watching a magical mushroom from a fairy tale kingdom grow out of the ground. The many-layered tea stand was filled with beautiful cakes that were deserving of being called edible chews. Of course, there were also several lovely light brown scones. The honey truly was golden honey, with bits of gold leaf dancing through it.
後ろ宮家も時にティーパーティーを開くようだが、わらわのそれとは比べ物にもなるまい。
すごい。こんなの見たことありません。
見たことがあろうとも、それは休場する立場からであろうが。
Okay, so here's something I want to add right over here. So we all know about magic and anti-magic toxin right over here. The fact that Beatrice manages to talk to Shannon this easily right over here, it does tell me that Shannon definitely has an affinity to magic, that's for sure. In the sense that she does have like no anti-magic toxin. If there is a person that Beatrice would be able to talk to easily, like among the first, like the easiest to talk to, that would definitely be Shannon. So yeah, I wanted to add that here as well. Like Shannon has like no problem believing in magic and the witches.
そなたはわらわの友人。 給仕の必要はないぞ。何しろわらわは魔女。給仕は間に合っているのでな。さあ遠慮することはない。好きなだけ頬張るがよい。
ありがとうございます。
That was all Shannon could manage to say. It would be hard for anyone to say much more after being suddenly invited to such a beautiful witch tea party.
まずは紅茶からどうか。ミルクは新鮮。砂糖もそのままかじりたくなるほどの上物よ。
Heavenly.
しかしまずは最初はストレートを進めたい。バラの花びらをほんの一枚浮かべるだけでもう二度と人の世の紅茶など飲めなくなってしまうに違いないぞ。
Laughing happily, Beatrice opened, not a sugar pot, but a rose petal pot. Picked up a single crimson petal, and floated it on her tea after relishing its scent. Shannon did the same, picking up a single petal and smelling its aroma.
なんて素敵な香り。これは本当にこの世のバラの香りなの？
喜んでもらえて嬉しい。わらわが紅茶に浮かべるためだけに品種改良を重ねたバラだ。すりつぶしてジャムにしてもこれがまた絶品でな。スコーンにもこの上なくよく合う。試してみるか？
じゃあ少しだけ。
Shannon had been invited to this witch tea party suddenly. However, the witch seemed so truly innocent, and her smile as she played the hostess was so happy that it made Shannon want to smile too. The tension in Shannon's heart gradually faded, and she started to enjoy her chat with this witch.
使用人の仕事も大変であろうな。わらわもよく覚えているぞ。礼拝堂の窓枠の掃除がとにかく面倒であった。
驚きました。あなたも使用人として働いていたことがあるのですか？
短い間だ。覚えておらぬだろうが、そなたと共に働いていたのだぞ。わらわはドジで物をよくなくす愚か者。そなたはわらわの憧れる理想の使用人であった。
なのに私が覚えていなくて本当にごめんなさい。
それを詫びる必要はない。ここではそなたは使用人ではなく、わらわの友人であり客人だ。ここでは何の不自由もない、何の苦労も退屈もない。そなたが望むすべてのものを与えることができるのだ。今やわらわにはそれだけの力がある。
Well, that's lovely.
それに至ったことをそなたには知らせたかったのだ。
何の取り柄もない私をこんなに素敵なおもてなしで歓待してくださって本当にありがとうございます。
辛き日々を今日まで耐え忍んだそなたへの褒美であると。そう、さあ黄金の蝶たちよ、わらわの友人を退屈させるでないぞ。軽やかな舞を見せるがいい。それに飽きたなら楽団を呼び出し、そなたの好きな曲を何でも演奏させよう。
The band?
それにも飽きたなら勝者なる使い魔たちに種なし手品を披露させてやろうぞ。安心せよ、ここでの時間は無限。そしてそなたの願いもまたわらわが無限に叶える。わらわの茶会に終わりはないのだ。
In a truly good mood, the witch told Shannon several strange stories. They were all stories Shannon had never heard before. Very interesting stories. And they were all odd, bizarre fairy tales. Shannon felt as though she had become Alice in Wonderland. The time she spent at this tea party was wholly strange, pleasant, and relaxed. No, At this tea party, there were no hands of a clock. So the time passed like a Sunday morning, when you can wrap yourself in your blanket for as long as you want. And if we were to invite like Cheester girls to this party, we would have the bunnies.
本当にこんな素敵な時間を与えてくださり感謝します。
礼はいらぬ。
Man, I really like the song whenever it plays.
なぜなら人の世で礼は別れの言葉を兼ねるのであろう。この茶会に終わりはない。だから礼も必要がない。
でも感謝します。ベアトリーチェ様、こんな素敵なお茶会を本当にありがとうございます。でも終わらない夢はないように、この夢も終わらないといけません。
ほう、なぜに終わらねばならぬのか。
明日も早いので、いつまでもここでおしゃべりをしていたら、私はお寝坊をして奥様に大目玉をもらってしまいます。
なぜにわざわざ短気な夏日のいる世界へ帰りたがるというのか。いやいや、どう多くして何のねぎらいもない人間の世界へなぜにわざわざ帰ろうというのか。
私人間ですし、いつまでもここでお世話にはなれません。
Okay, now this is to me it feels like it's turning into a inner conflict here when it comes to believing in magic versus the reality of things. Like,
シャノン、そなたは勘違いをしているようだ。わらわはそなたを招いたが、追い返すような真似はしない。ここでの時間は永遠だ。そなたが別れを切り出さねばならぬ義理などない。わらわはそなたとどれだけ茶会を共にしようとも飽きぬぞ。むしろそなたという話し相手が実に心地よい。
お言葉は嬉しいですけど、私は人間、自分の世界に帰らなくちゃいけません。
家人にこき使われ、日々を学校と仕事だけに費やす何の彩りもない世界に、なぜわざわざ帰るというのか。
それでもそこが私の世界ですし。
シャノン、そのような世界がそなたの世界である必要があるというのか。
I do have to point out that Shannon said that she is human here. I feel like I needed to point it out because I don't want to forget this particular line because maybe it's important in differentiating Shannon now versus the Shannon from like the Shannon that we knew from before, and how she considered herself furniture instead of human at certain points. Because I feel like there is a little bit of a difference here when it comes to both Shannons, and I wanted to point that out.
率直に言おう。シャノン、わらわはそなたを招いたのではない。迎えに来たのだ。
Because I am taking notes. I do take notes from time to time, of course.
迎え？
かつてそなたのような良き使用人を目指し、
Take me home, country road, or more like golden road.
そして魔女の世界に憧れ、使用人から魔女となったわらわは、もはや魔法の閲楽を知り尽くす境地に至った。だからそなたを迎えに来たのだ。
Beatrice spoke quietly and slowly rose from her seat.
シャノン、やはり使用人よりも魔女の世界の方がずっと楽しいぞ。この茶会など旧友とのほんの挨拶代わりでしかない。わらわとそなたが望めば望んだ数だけいくらでも楽しき催しは繰り広げられる。それこそ無限に永遠にこの黄金のバラ庭園を完成させた今、わらわは至ったのだ。こここそが理想郷。そう、ここを黄金の理想郷と名付けよう。
Golden Paradise. Does sound exciting, but I think something more in the lines of Golden Land would sound more perfect for this.
その完成に至ったからこそそなたを迎えに来たのだ。もう何の不自由も忍耐も努力も必要ない。ここでそなたとわらわは永遠にいつまでも楽しく過ごすのだ。まるで終わりのないおとぎ話のようにな。
素敵な申し出を本当にありがとうございます。でも私は元の世界へ帰らなくてはなりません。
なぜに？
ここは私の世界ではありませんので。
それは認める。これまではそなたの世界ではなかった。だからわらわが招くのだ。これよりここはわらわとそなたの世界となる。そなたはもう客人ではない。この世界のもう一人の主となるのだ。わらわにも何の遠慮も無用。この無限の世界でかつてルームメイトだった時のように過ごすだけの話。
その記憶がないことが私はとても残念です。でもそのお招きはお断りしたいと思います。
なぜにそなたに人間の世界に戻らねばならぬどんな義務が。
This is something that I have yet to think a little bit more as time goes on, but I don't know, at first glance, something tells me that you, Beatrice, kind of shot yourself in the foot when you separated yourself from Shannon and left her alone, and even got rid of her memories and such, instead of, you know, asking Shannon to be your companion, like right then and there, like before. Like now, after all this time, like you're talking about this as if you knew Shannon like all this time, and yet now because of your actions, Shannon doesn't even remember you as Yasta. So I don't know, Beatrice, you kind of like you have good intentions, but you kind of did it in a bit of a weird way. If you want to convince Shannon here of staying with you in the Golden Land. Well, I mean, Golden Paradise.
どんな義理があるというのか。
True, the world of humans, or the world of servants, is busy all the time. Madame is strict, high-strung, and has a short temper. It would be a life I said that everyday chores weren't a pain, and having to balance work with school makes it even harder. Beatrice had watched over those painful days the whole time. She had seen those constantly tired shoulders heave and sigh many times. And that was why she had invited Shannon here, to this golden paradise. She had tried to give Shannon a perfect welcome, to truly make her happy. So why had Shannon selected her original world over this one? Beatrice was overcome with shock, and completely unable to understand.
この理想郷にて わらわはそなたに対し最高のもてなしをした。そしてそれはこれからもそれ以上の楽しい日々が続く。なのにそれでも人間の世界を選ぶそなたには、人間の世界にて魔女の閲楽以上の楽しさがあるというのか。
はい、人間の世界にだって魔法に負けないくらい楽しいことがあります。
バカな。あるわけがない。
いいえ、あります。
Shannon's expression was soft. However, her words were firm. And there was something more wonderfully alluring in the human world. And that something was apparently not in this paradise. It was supposed to have everything just as they wanted it.
バカな。わからぬ。わからぬ。
As Beatrice muttered, she shifted restlessly several times. And again, like based on what I've said before, like if they are one and the same, and we're talking about like an inner conflict over here between choosing one or the other, Beatrice actually may be aware of what Shannon is talking about what would actually be that something that is even more fun than magic in the human world. It's just that she's restlessly trying to fight against that because of her love of magic. So I don't know if I can see this as Beatrice being confused and seeing nothing beautiful in the human world. It's just that there are beautiful things in both the human world and the magic world, and Yasuda is basically just like fighting here in terms of what is good and what is bad, or something like that. I don't know if I'm making sense over here, but let's see. However, no matter how often she said it, Shannon's smile didn't falter, and Beatrice couldn't think of an answer.
では、私はこれで失礼します。お茶、本当に美味しかったです。
わからぬ。わからぬ。わらわは全てを無限に手に入れられる偉大なる黄金の魔女。そのわらわに、そなたは手に入れられぬものがあると、そう申すのか。
Oh, are we going back to the furniture talk?
はい。
知りたい。全てを手に入れたと信じるわらわが、未だ手に入れておらぬものとは何なのか。
多分、あなたはもうそれをご存知と思います。
There you go. That's what I was talking about before. Shannon, like what Shannon is saying over here.
だから私をここへ招いてくれたのではないですか？
Isn't that why you invited me here? To convince herself that magic truly is the way to go instead of the human world. But it's not that easy. There is still inner turmoil over here. And thus, Shannon has to go back to the human world. And thus, the inner turmoil will continue.
魔女を煙に巻くというのか。
Yeah, you know, Shannon is speaking in riddles over here. She's not being straight with this. I noticed a little bit of a weird thing on Claire's sprite there with the animation. Like whenever she opens her mouth, the tear just disappears, and when she closes it, it just reappears. Like the tear just appears and reappears like that fast.
ではこれで。ここに住むことはできませんが、お茶会にお誘いくださった時には必ずお伺いしようと思います。
もう呼ばぬわ。
Okay, now it's not happening anymore. It happened with that sprite from before, but now it's fixed.
安心するがよい。
I guess so. Nope, breaking glass. Beatrice snapped her fingers, and Shannon popped out of existence. She returned Shannon's soul to the dream of her original self. Although people have many dreams in the night, they can remember none of them. The tea party in this paradise would mix in with many other dreams and vanish. No, I mean, it's not like it always happens. Like, there might be times when you are gonna remember your dreams. The next morning, Sho no remembered this tea party. However, Shannon's cup remained here. The witch who had lost her guest and was standing alone looked all the more lonely. The witch dug her fingernails into the tablecloth. That grimace as she bit her lower lip made it clear that she still hadn't solved the puzzle Shannon had left behind.
リッチ、気にすることないわよ。
Above Shannon's empty seat, a black hole opened, and the owner of the voice fell out of it.
気にもする。ああもガツンと言われてはな。
夜明けも近いから早く睡眠に戻りたいだけだったんじゃない？
わらわが知らず、そしてシャノンが知る閲楽とは何か。わらわの理想郷になくて人間の世界にのみある何かとは何か。
You know how I talked before about the difference between the human world and the Golden Land / the Land of the Dead, and how maybe one motive for why the main culprit of the entire story is doing what they did and sending everyone to the Golden Land is because of their sinful body, of where she originated, of where her body originated from, and well, you cannot love somebody that comes from that same family. Like I talked about this in the season 7 investigation part and such. So in the Golden Land / the Land of the Dead, you are free from that sin because the body would no longer be there. But the way this is questioned, what is this something that can be found in the human world but not in the paradise? A body, in that case.
わからぬ。知りたい。
難しいこと考えたって頭痛の種に水をやるだけだわ。シャノンの代わりなら私が務めてあげる。私たちで楽しくお茶会を過ごしましょうよ。
もう茶会の気分ではない。そなたとの茶会はもう飽きた。
あらあら、釣れないわ。
The witch shrugged and laughed, then took a bite out of a skull. She then blew into it, and it swelled up like a balloon before finally popping. Golden ribbons of butterflies flew out, but Beatrice didn't appear to notice.
一体何をわらわは持たぬというのか。何を。
どうぞお足元にお気をつけになって。
Hey there, Captain Kawabata. Yeah, it's been a while.
ありがとう船長さん。お体本当に大事になさってね。
わしの友人にな、肩こりによく効くっちゅうのを商ってるのがおるんや。次の時試供品もらってくるで。
いえいえ、お気遣いをありがとうございます。
ほらガキども、いつまではしゃぎ回ってやがる。とっとと降りろい。
ほらマリア、ママと一緒にお船を降りましょうね。
Maria, who was led by the hand, was still too young for kindergarten. However, she seemed to notice that her cousins, whom she rarely saw, were playing all around her, and she was very excited. Phew. Okay. Something, well, it says that she's not ready yet for kindergarten, so something tells me that this is 6 years prior to 1986. This is 1980, which tells me that maybe Maria at this point is 3 years old. Whew. Bella and George had the energy of middle school, or nearly middle school kids. Yeah. Which would make Beller and... okay, well, Beller would be 12 yeah, 12 at this point. George would be... Wait, George is 24, right? Yeah, I remember that he's 24. He's much older than Beller. So, technically, at this point, he would be like 18. Those two, along with Jessica, who had met up with them on Nijima, were making a lot of noise on the deck.
Awesome. 大丈夫か?
Awesome!
お前は本当に乗り物がダメだな。
Rudolph lent an arm to his wife, Asuma. That... she doesn't like riding the boat? Yeah, she... Like maybe this is less of a nature thing and more of a nurture thing, which would include fears that Beller may have developed because of Asuma, even though Asuma is not biologically the mother.
ようこそ六軒島へ。
Hey there, Genji. Hi. You look younger in this.
長旅を大変お疲れ様でございました。
The whole family had gathered for the conference. At this point in time, Rudolph's wife was still Asuma, and Angie hadn't been born. Yeah, because Angie, by the time of 1986, she will be 6 years old, and if this is 6 years prior, then yeah, Angie wouldn't be born yet. Although, I can assume that Asuma would have like the big belly with Angie inside. If Angie actually is the daughter of Asuma, like biologically speaking. Goran Kannon hadn't yet been employed by the Ushirimiya family. Yeah, they were employed much later. And the witch's epitaph, which would toy with the family's fate, hadn't appeared yet. That too. They probably couldn't even imagine the bizarre crime that awaited them several years into the future.
旦那様、奥様、親族の方々がご到着なさいました。
では、私は親父殿に声をかけてくるとしよ
お願いします。私は皆様方をお迎えします。あ、シャノン、この窓枠を掃除したのは誰ですか？まだ埃があるではありませんか。大急ぎで拭きなさい。
かしこまりました、奥様。
Oh, come on. Natsu's making her work so hard again. Just what good does she find in such a fussy, ulcer-inducing life? I wanted to know. Shannon, what is it that you found? And what did you mean when you said I already knew what I was missing? Shannon, is this something I must learn by learning about you?
親族会議の日の六軒島は普段と何が違うのだろう。
それは絶対賑やかさ。これだけの子供が集まることはないものね。
大人たちにとっては緊張感を強いられる日だったろうけれど。
Hello, Georgie.
僕たち子供にとっては仲良しのいとこたちと一度に会える素敵な日だったね。
Man, are we actually gonna see like the kids interact with each other like 6 years prior? Even with Maria? Although sadly, I don't think that we're actually gonna see like any differences in sprites. I don't think that we're actually gonna see Battler as a 12-year-old, but still with the same sprites of an 18-year-old. I don't think that we're gonna see that. Although when it comes to Shannon, though, Like, you know, I talked about multiple multiple personalities under the same body and such, but we still did see Shannon, but we still seen Shannon with her developed body, even earlier than this point. Like at 9, like in 19. Like 19... Wait, what was it? Like 1970... 1986? 6... Didn't Claire actually mention the year? It would be 1977, right? Yeah, I think it was 1977 when she got employed. And we seen Shannon with her developed body, like, at that point. I think that my ideas still stand. However, yeah, it can be possible that they just didn't have the time to make like another set of sprites with a much younger looking Shannon and such. And similarly, we may see here as well. For George, I can see that they're still gonna use George's sprites because, well, how much different are you gonna look between 18 and 24? Well, actually, you would have like a bit of a difference, but you can pass. Like in anime, but between a 18-year-old Jessica and a 12-year-old Jessica, same thing for Battler and Maria. Yeah, I don't think so.
夏はいいとこたちで海ではしゃいだし、冬は冬でいろいろゲームをして遊んだっけ。俺たちにとっては親族会議ってのは楽しいもんだったぜ。
それは私もだぜ。母さんなんかは粗相があってはダメとかうるさかったけど、私にとってもいとこみんなで遊べる楽しい日だった。
As for Maria, I don't think that she remembers a single thing from that.
何しろ普段の六軒島には何もねえんだから。
すげえお屋敷に住んでたり、プライベートビーチがあったり。
Cause it was said like right at the beginning of Umineko when we started in episode 1. Like 6 years ago, Maria was so young, clearly she wouldn't remember Battler, so technically, like in 1986, it was the first time that Maria met Battler. She was very timid at the point, seeing this stranger and all that, but she did open up, like shortly after, because Battler is such a charismatic bastard.
ガキの頃は羨ましいと思ってたけど、ジェシカの身になって考えると、さぞや窮屈だったと思うぜ。
だろうね。六軒島には本当に何もない。友達の家もお隣もご近所もない。ジェシカちゃんの気持ちを考えると少し気の毒に思うよ。
だから私にとっては親族会議の日は本当に特別な日。はしゃいでふざけて、まるでお祭りの日みたいな気持ちだった。徹底的に悪ふざけの限りを尽くしたぜ。
大人たちは小難しい話ばかりで、あっちで遊んでなさいってことになったなら。
年の近いいとこたちが3人。はしゃぎ回らないわけがない。
いや、3人じゃない。4人だったよ。
エンジェは生まれてないし、マリアはまだ一緒に遊べるような年じゃない
Well...
わ。
違うよ、フルフル。
Hmm.
年が近いのはいとこだけじゃないよ。
シャノンちゃんだよ。彼女も俺らと同じくらいの年だったからな。
Yeah, well, minus George.
母さんが使用人のことは話すなとうるさかったけれど、私とシャノンは少しずつ交流を深めていったよ。
Yeah, fuck Nazi when it comes to that. Let Jessica and Shannon be friends, goddammit.
六軒島で最も年が近い唯一の女の子だったんだから。
僕たちとシャノンの4人は仲良しだったんだ。親族会議の時はいつも楽しく遊んでいたよ。ね、シャノン。
はい。 奥様に知られればお叱りを受けることと分かってはおりましたが。
叱らせなんかしねえぜ。シャノンはずっと私の気持ちを唯一理解してくれる親友だったぜ。
ありがとうございます、お嬢様。
I could not hide my shock. How had she formed a relationship with the children of the family, despite being only a servant? Nancy had probably been very careful to prevent such a relationship. However, it's frickin' Jessica. Like, come on. Who would want to be friends with a kid of her own age? And Shannon was also alone on this island without any friends her age. Though they both understood their relationship as master and servant, they somehow managed to strike up a friendship. Then, at the family conference, Jessica had introduced Shannon to George and Battler. All the adults had their hands full with their complicated discussions in the mansion. During that time, Shannon was able to put aside her role as a servant for a little bit, and act her age with Jessica, George, and Battler. I had no idea that Shannon had constructed this new world so quickly. As a butterfly hiding in the shadows, I observed this new world of Shannon's.
あの日も僕らはバラ庭園を、そして浜辺を駆け回ったよ。
ただ駆け回ってふざけ合うだけが最高に楽しかったな。
だな。この時ばかりはシャノンちゃんも年相応の笑顔を見せてくれたぜ。
ちょっとはしゃぎすぎてたかもです。お恥ずかしい。
今でこそバトラーも立派な身長だけど、当時は私やシャノンの方が背が高いし力も強かったっけ。
当時の俺は成長がちょいと遅かったからな。
Yeah, I remember. I feel like this was a detail in the first episode, how he had a bit of a growth spurt at some point. He was a little bit smaller than your average, but then got a little bit taller, like faster, I think, if I remember.
成長が遅い方の方が背は伸びると聞いたことがあります。
そうだろうな。シャノンちゃんの胸もあの頃は全然こんなじゃなかったもんな。
そんなことはないよ。シャノンだってあの頃からもう女性の魅力を持ち始めてたよねえ。
どうでしょう。
女性の魅力ってなんだよ。やらしい。
いやあの頃はまだ俺も可愛かったな。
Yeah, especially talking about the 13-year-old to Shannon at that point, eh, George?
夏服の肩からちらりと見える紐に青い春の稲妻を感じたもんだっせ。ジョージの兄貴と一緒にシャノンちゃんの胸はいくつくらいか夜にこそこそと話し合ったのが懐かしいぜ。
そうなんですか、ジョージ様。
Caught in 4K?
おそらくは大いに誤解のある話だと思うよ。僕は男女の成長の違いについて人生の先輩として講義をした記憶はあってもいとこ同士での夜のワイ談はむしろ健全な発育の証であって、
いやー、みんなでいとこ部屋で深夜になるまでそういう話をしてたっけな。隣のクラスの誰々がキスをしたらしいとか、サマーキャンプで素敵だなと思ってたこと手をつなげちゃったとか、誰々は自分に気がありそうでとかなんとか。いやー、なんか恥ずかしくて全身が痒くなってきたぜ。
いいじゃないか。それもまた青春の甘酸っぱい1ページ。
男女を意識し合うところから一番最初のピュアな恋が生まれるの。
ただ男女で一緒にいたいだけというとてもそれでいて高潔な
素敵だわ。 年頃の少年少女たちが愛の世界を思い浮かべながら語り合う。そんなこともありましたでしょうか。
何をとぼけてるんだか。耳まで真っ赤になりながらもシャノンちゃんが一番興味津々って感じだったじゃねえかよ。
興味津々なんてことはありませんでした。私は皆さんよくいろいろなことをご存知だなと。
うん、シャノンが一番かまととぶってて、そのくせ興味津々だった。
Yeah, I mean, I did remember one time when Shannon was being a little bit more spicier than usual when talking to Jessica and, making, like, teasing her a little bit. When it comes to Jessica's woes and stories with Kanon.
一番むっつりスケベだった。
そんなことありません。そんなことありません。お嬢様嫌いです。
A little bit. For some reason, when I heard Shannon say that, it reminded me of Nagisa from Clannad. Like, her voice reminded me of her.
そう、いつもこんな感じ。昼は子供らしくはしゃぎ合い、夜は枕を寄せて秘密の話に花を咲かせた。それら全部をひっくるめてどれも懐かしいね。
エッチな話をひそひそして親の足音が近づいてきたらガバッと布団に潜って寝たふりしたりとかあったな。
あったあった。修学旅行かっつーの。
全員同時にガバッと隠れる感じ、暗黙のルールみたいな感じというか、妙な連帯感というか、あの感じがすごい好きでした。
ま、とにかくそういう話だけじゃなかったよ。他にもいろいろあった。僕たちはまさに青春を謳歌し合っていたよ。
これは何だというのか。
Sean, is this that fun thing of the human world? Is this incomprehensible messing around the thing that you found?
子供同士が群れてバカバカしい遊びに熱中し、くだらぬ話題で盛り上がる。これがそなたの見つけた魔女の閲楽にも勝る人間の閲楽だというのか。
はい、あなたにはこれが楽しくは見えませんか。
退屈とは言わぬ。だがこの低俗なはしゃぎ合いが全ての望みを叶えられるわらわの理想郷よりも勝るとは解せぬ。
You know what they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
人と触れ合うことはとても楽しいことなんです。
And I can see the beauty, even though I have no eyes to begin with.
もちろんあなたの世界も楽しいものだと思います。それでも私はこちらを選びます。
わからぬ。わからぬ。
Beatrice held her head as though she was having a headache. But no matter how much she grimaced, she couldn't think of an answer.
教えよ。そなたはこのような低俗なはしゃぎ合いの中に何を見つけたというのか。
知りたいですか。
知りたい。
恋です。
これ
Oh.
前に約束した推理小説。
Alright, back over here.
ありがとうございます。お借りしますね。
いいよ、シャノンちゃんにやるよ。俺はもう読み終わっちまったし。
そんなもらってしまっては悪いです。高いものでしょうし。
Hold on a second, is this like confirmation for what we've seen before? Well, I remember in episode 6, like near the end, when we've had baby battle before the wedding crash, and remembering stuff and finally figuring things out, and we had this tiny flashback with Battler and such, and I was like, oh, my mind has expanded. But then again, like we did hear George talk about those moments where Shannon and George were talking to each other, and George was, wait, no, when Shannon and Battler were talking to each other, and George was looking from a distance. So maybe there was a little bit of a confirmation there, but here we are having Shannon and Battler talk to each other, and something tells me that it's gonna lead to the sin. Ugh.
バザーでほんの何百円かでまとめ買いしたやつだから。
To the promise, not the sin yet.
気にするなって。それより早く全部読んでまたいろいろと議論をしようぜ。
Well, confirmation. I don't think that the story itself is gonna confirm stuff, but rather, I feel to me, it will feel like confirmation. Like, this will be the thing that will settle in my mind that the idea that I have is what I truly want.
シャノンちゃんといろいろ議論するのは楽しいからさ。
はい、私も楽しいです。ミステリーは一人で読むよりも二人で読む方が楽しいですよね。
議論したり妄想したりするのが楽しいよな。ミステリーは読んで半分を楽しみ、読んだ人間同士で語り合って初めて全てを楽しめるってのが俺の持論だぜ。
You know, that's true. I know it all too damn well. It all started when we realized that we both read mystery novels. We were both surprised and very interested to find that the other not only read tons of mystery novels, but read them very thoroughly. Okay, that's good. So, we did learn before that apparently Shannon Yasuda started liking mystery novels before Battler. So it wasn't necessarily that Battler influenced Shannon / Yasuda into liking mystery novels, or you know, that other option where the sole reason why Yasuda started reading murder mystery novels after Battler left the family was to accomplish the Rokkenjima mass murder, but no. I guess it is much more simple than that. Basically, Yasuda just started liking murder mystery novels before Battler, and then she notices that Battler also likes murder mystery novels, and she's like, oh, woo, nice. It's a nice feeling. Ever since then, it's been like this. Separate from the games we played with old cousins, the two of us met together for some time alone. At first, it was like a sort of contest to see who knew more than the other. However, eventually, this turned into respect for how much the other had read, and how deeply they were able to think about it. Respect. Trust. Those emotions made our friendship even stronger. Of course, all that had still fallen within the category of friendship. But we were still slightly aware of the fact that the other was of the opposite sex, making for a relationship that was charming or youthful, or maybe you could call it exciting. However, we were still so young that even the word youth felt like it might be overstating our age. Of course, we didn't know a thing about love, so we couldn't understand that tickling feeling in our chests, both bitter and sweet, that we only felt when we were alone together. However, we realized that there was some unknown emotion hidden behind that feeling. And as our hearts raced, we had our hands upon the door. And that was the exciting age we were at. So, at some point, our discussions about mystery novels became just an excuse for us to spend time alone together.
ホワイトニットを大切にした推理小説ってあまりねえんだよな。
ホワイトニット？犯人の動機ですか？
ああ、推理小説で探るべき3つの論点はフーダニット、ハウダニット、そしてホワイトニット。この前者2つを扱う小説は結構多いと思うが、最後のホワイトニットを扱う小説って案外ないんだよな。
犯人特定後に動機を自白する作品は結構あると思いますけど。
それを犯人が自白する前に推理できるようになってなければダメなんだ。
This has been talked about before.
動機がないと思われていた人物が推理不能な動機により事件に及ぶってのは、俺は個人的にはアンフェアだと思ってる。
Which, it does give me an urge to look back at the cases that I've solved over the years prior to Umineko and think, is that motive something that I can deduce myself or not? Like, off the top of my head, I remember one case from Danganronpa V3. I don't know if I mentioned this in Umineko or not. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but for those of you who do know, the case, like the third case in Danganronpa V3, I do remember that I've managed to succeed in solving the case like 95% of it, like before the trial even started. I remember, like, I gave a lot of ideas and it seems that I was mostly right, at least from what I remember. That's how I felt. But the motive, the motive of the culprit of that case can... Like, I don't know if in the free time events of that character can it be really deduced or anything like that? But it's a very optional thing, those free time events. I don't think that you can really reason the motive for that culprit before they confess. And that motive is basically bonkers, like a very disturbing motive for why they did what they did, so... I don't know. Who done it? Who's the culprit? How done it? How did they commit the crime? And also I remember something in Danganronpa 1. When it comes to free times, like free time events especially, like there was one case at some point. Should I say like what chapter it was? Nah, I'm not gonna say for this one. But the bottom line, if you do free time events for one character, whether it's a culprit or the victim, I'm not gonna say it. But if you do the free time events, those might actually add like a detail that that can be of help in thinking of something for that case. Like, and that is optional. That can happen long before the crime happens. Like that free time event that offers like an extra detail that might actually be considered a little bit unfair. Like quite an advantage like once you start thinking about the case and such, if you were to do those free time events in comparison to not doing those free time events. Oh, Jesus, that was a long time ago. That particular case was mind-blowing to me when it comes to the reveal of something in particular in that case. For those of you who have watched Danganronpa 1 and like are old-time viewers of mine, you may know what I'm talking about right over here. Which is also something that that is discussed in Umineko as well. Now that I'm thinking about it. Why done it? Why did they commit the crime?
誰が犯人かとか、どんなトリックでとか、それを問う作品はすげえ多いぜ。
But yeah, bottom line, it does make me think, like, it does make me feel like I should go back to the previous cases for all the stuff that I've done and see. Okay, is this something that I can deduce myself, this motive, before the culprit confesses, or not? It will be fun, but it would take forever, because it would require me having to go back to all the games that I've done.
いや、ほとんどだろうな。しかし、動機を推理する作品ってのは決して多くないと思う。
そうですね。Who, How, Why の3つの中で一番ないがしろにされている要素かもしれませんね。
ホワイダニットを大切にしない推理小説ってのはなんだか一味足りないように思う。いや、つまらないって言ってんじゃない。なんていうのか、一番大切なものが足りないような気がするんだ。
一番大切なものが足りない？
心だよ。心が足りない。
心。
人の心ってのはすごく重要だと思うんだ。人間が殺人を決意し、計画し、準備し、実行に踏み切るにはものすごい大きな心の力が必要なはずなんだ。人は心で動いてるんだぜ。
In other words, only the heart can kill a person. When an emotional upheaval grows strong enough to make a person want to kill, the result is the tragedy called murder. Putting it the other way around, that means that the true way to close in on a crime is by searching for the heart that brings about the tragedy of murder. Only the heart can kill. So if a person has been killed, you must search for the heart. And that's what he told me.
だからさ、犯人がただの殺人狂で面白半分に事件を起こしてるって作品は。
Okay. So, yeah, Umineko is basically telling us right now, hey, dum-dum, figure out the motive. And such, because it's important. And not only that, but, you know, for all the stuff that we've been through, Umineko has been, you know, episodic. I mean, not just because we have literal episodes, you know, but when it comes to the murders themselves, they are definitely episodic because, well, murder happens in different ways in each case. However, the motive is basically the common thing, like when it comes to all these, like all the episodes that happened. Minus, you know, Erika, who was a completely separate culprit in episode 6 and such. Yeah, that is definitely something. Cause at this point, there's like so much murder that happened like in each episode. I don't feel like Umineko is gonna address like all of them at this point. No. I think that this is up to the viewer to figure it out themselves. And that's good. That's actually pretty good. Like I remember that I've given like quite a few theories when it comes to the murders of episode 1, I think I remember episode 2 a little bit. I did bring up like a few things for episode 4 as well, when I was talking with Nefarious and such, like when we were throwing our orange theories and like green counters and such. I remember that. As for episode 5 and 6, I don't know, like they were well, actually, no. Okay. I think I know what I'm trying to say over here. But bottom line, like episode 5 and 6, the mystery was definitely the core. And like those were the debates, like figuring out like alternative ways for the logic room, figuring out like the alternative for Nazi situation episode 5. Those were hard topics that we had to discuss because, well, because Erika existed, so yeah. So now that Erika is gone, we're basically going back to the murders happening, but it's more important that the motive and the core of the culprit is discussed. Hell, episode 7 up until this point was basically talking about like the dead cat and now the living cat, the human being. The murder doesn't even matter at this point. So yeah, we're kind of going back to the roots over here, and in like in a way, we're going back to the question arcs feel of how we go through these episodes.
なんだか少し好きになれない。
殺すに値する十分な心の動きを描いた作品がお好きだと？
そうさ。そしてそれを推理させてくれる作品が俺は本当は一番好きなんだ。
As he spoke, he looked back at me and smiled. Before today, I used to like novels that focused on exposing the tricks. However, I decided to look for novels like the ones he recommended in the future.
心ってやつを俺はないがしろにしたくない。人は心で動いてるんだからな。
そうですね。おっしゃる通りだと思います。
And this isn't limited to the mystery genre. All people, at all times, are driven by their hearts. Figuring out the heart is the essence of interactions between people. No, interactions between hearts. None of us humans can live on our own, and yet we have no way of peeking into the hearts of others. And that's why every meeting between people is its own mystery of the heart. Encountering those mysteries, reasoning about them, and understanding them is what allows people in hearts to connect with one another. The two of us are here by ourselves, talking together about mysteries. And through that, we are exploring each other's heart and debating its mysteries. Wow. This is actually quite a romantic way of interpreting mysteries yet again. Like, you remember how we, like in the previous episodes with Virgilia and Delnor, we discussed about the mystery genre and connecting it to the romance genre. And how I came up to the idea that, hey, Beatrice confirmed in red that this is possible. Therefore, it is a way of telling us that Beatrice was the one who confessed first to Battler that she loved him. That was my way of interpreting that. I think that's what it was. Hopefully, I'm not misremembering details here. No, I think it was that. And same case over here. Like, talking about the mysteries and identifying the hearts of the mysteries, aka the motives, is a parallel to figuring out people and their hearts and connecting with people. Thus, talking about mysteries, like murder mysteries, is a way for people to connect with each other. Man, Umineko is something else. My god, it's built different. I'm loving it. I wanted to feel about me the way I feel about you. We're both exploring, trying to figure out the depths of the other's heart in this mystery of love.
お、もうこんな時間だな。兄貴たちを待たせちゃってるかな。
そろそろ戻った方がいい時間ですね。
シャノンちゃんと話してるとあっという間に時間が過ぎちまうな。
You seem to be speaking the words of my heart. We were thinking the same thing, so the same words came out.
いつまでも二人きりでお話をできたらいいのに。時計の針が恨めしいです。
俺もだぜ。六軒島で一番楽しいのはこうしてシャノンちゃんと話すことだからな。
I saw that his smiling eyes were looking at right. I turned around. I couldn't let him see my suddenly red face.
私も外の世界へ出られたならもっともっとたくさんの本を読めるのに。
Oh, here it comes! The bookshop on Nijima that I go to and the bookshop he goes to in the city are on completely different scales. And the book exchange between the two of us had become completely one-sided, with him giving me all the books.
シャノンちゃんはいつまで使用人を続ける気なんだ？
わかりません。
もしいつか辞める時が来たら。
来たら？
俺のところへ来いよ。
He said it, almost carelessly. And that blush too. Maybe he was a bit embarrassed, since he left weakly and blushed.
そしたら今度はもう時間も何も気にせずに済むもんな。
そうですね。ずっと一緒にいられますね。
Those secret dates on this island only happened a few times a year. And when they did happen, it was only for a short, uncertain period of time. It wouldn't work over the phone or with letters. We can only talk about our mystery when we're standing together like this.
必ずその日は来るさ。
来るでしょうか。
ああ、絶対にな。
Certain? How can he be certain?
その日が来たら俺が白馬にまたがって迎えに来てやるぜ。
You're riding a white horse! They're saying this, he turned away. He's probably too proud to show me his blushing cheeks. And someday even feeling embarrassed about what he said. But even without seeing, I knew what his face looked like. To come riding on a white horse. Who did that again? Isn't it like a fairy tale prince? So what exactly does that mean? Does that mean going to be my prince? My mind was going blank, so I just couldn't reason out his mystery of love, even though it was all plain and simple.
その日はいつ来るんでしょう。
シャノンちゃんさえ決心したならすぐにさ。
My heart skipped a beat. It was so sweet, yet it hurt. Man, you know, in retrospect, like, okay, here it is shown plain as day that Shannon has feelings for Battler. But in retrospect, like, I remember the beach scene when Shannon just blurted that out and we had that comic moment with Battler being embarrassed and such. As if that line with the white horse was nothing special, but yeah, this definitely means a lot to Shannon in retrospect.
俺はいつだっていいんだぜ。シャノンちゃんの人生さ。よく考えてから決心するといい。俺はその決心がいつであってもそれを尊重するぜ。
はい。
その日まで ずっと待ってるぜ。
If I were a bit more foolish and courageous, I could have told him that my mind is already made up, and I could have asked him to take me away from this island right now. But I can't. I have to think carefully about my future, for both our sakes. My head filled with pointless, senseless thoughts.
嬉しいです。ありがとう。
With his back still to me, he scratched his head and laughed. I knew he was doing this out of embarrassment, so I could clearly tell what his expression must have been. In the same way, he must have realized what my face looked like. We're both puzzle solvers of love. We theorize about each other's love, solving each other's mysteries.
時間をくれてありがとうございます。
時間は無限にあるぜ。
いいえ、それでは申し訳ないです。待ちくたびれちゃったら申し訳ないです。だから決心しました。決心しますというのが正しいでしょうか。今日、今すぐ使用人を辞めるという意味じゃありません。そう、1年後に。
If 1 year from now, you still feel certain about coming for me on a white horse. And me too. If I still like you a year from now, I'd like to dedicate the rest of my life to you. Okay, so there is a deadline here. Before, I thought that I was thinking it was more of a gradual thing that Shannon would feel once Battler decided to not come to the family, to come back to the family. Once Battler decided to go away from the family.
1年後にこの同じ場所で決心しようと思います。
1年か。いい時間だな。春夏秋冬、それだけの時間を過ごして自分の心と正直に向き合うといいぜ。
ですから来年きっと迎えに来てくださいね。
おう。
He responded to my cowardly resolve with a quick, strong answer.
その日が来るのを待っているぜ。
はい、私も待っていますからね。絶対来てくださいね。
ああ、
絶対ですよ。来年来てくださいね。
ああ、絶対来るぜ。ここで会おうな。
Definitely. Breaking glass. I see. So this emotion that feels like sweet suffocation is love? It is an emotion I do not know. One I do not possess. Though my magic can grant any wish, though my paradise can grant any wish, it is something I cannot have. An incomprehensible emotion that burns like fire. And yet one desires madly to hold it close. All I know is that no matter how great a witch I might become, I cannot create this emotion. It must be given by another person. For the first time, I realized that I was not all powerful. And he knew what Shannon had discovered in the world of humans.